Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Handwriting. Today's Tuesday, as we normally do our handwriting on a Tuesday. But before we start with our long date, let's begin with our rhyme. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are my feet flat on the floor? 5, 6, 7, 8. Is my back up nice and straight? Is my chair tucked in as well? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was a bit funky. This is how my pencil is held, so remember using your thumb, your second finger and your third finger. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, I've gone a bit too far. 13, 14, 15, 16. Now I'm ready to start my writing. Sorry, we had a bit of a funky rhyme this morning. Okay, let's begin with the long date. So, just watching me, please. I'm going to start with Tuesday. So on the top dotted lines, I'm going straight down. I'm taking it off on the bottom solid line. Then I'm coming over to the left here and I'm going across to the right. Your turn to write capital T. Okay, now for the U. So U just next to the T, watching me. Top solid line, I'm going down, I'm curving the bottom, I'm coming up, and I'm going back down again, taking it off. Your turn to write U. Okay, now for the E, between the two solid lines, watching me. I put my pencil there, I go up, I make a lovely loop, go down, and curve that bottom, come up, let go. Your turn. Now for our S, starting over here, watching me, I'm putting my pencil down just there, and curving up, curving around, coming up, coming off. Your turn. Now for D. Remember D is like A. So starting over here on the right, watching me, going to the left, going down, curving that bottom, coming up, touching the top solid line, going down. Your turn. Okay, next is A. So starting over here on the right, going to the left, going down, touching that bottom solid line, coming up, going down. Your turn. Okay, now for Y, remember Y's like you. You're watching me. I go down below that line and I curve the bottom. Your turn. Okay, I'm going to leave a finger space. And you're going to watch me. I'm going to write 10 because today's the 10th. So watching me, top dotted line going straight down to the bottom solid line, taking it off. And then for the 0, I'm going to start over on the right, going to the left, going down, curving a little, touching the bottom, coming back up, joining. Your turn to write 10. Now for the TH. So watching me, starting on the top dotted line, I'm going down, taking it off, crossing from left to right, and then the H, top dotted line going down, branching, curve, down. Okay, please don't forget that lovely branch. Your turn. Okay. So it's the 10th of, so I'm going to leave a finger space. You're watching me, I'm going to write the O, so starting on the right, going to the left, going down, coming up and joining. And then the F, I'm starting just below the top dotted line, I'm coming up, around, down, so like a cane. And then I'm crossing left to right. Your turn. Okay. So I'm leaving a finger space. It's now November. So watching me, this is capital N, so start on the top, go down and take the pen off. Come back up to the top and go down, up. Okay, notice it's not very wide. It's not, this wide or anything. It's only this wide. Your turn. So remember, down, off, down, up. Okay. Now the O. Watching me for V. Curve bottom, just a little curve, not a massive one. E in the middle. M, remember it's got a double branch. One branch, two, and the second branch. I didn't quite make that touch. Make sure you make that touch. And then B from the top, coming up, branching. There's a lot of branching in November. One more branch for this R. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 branches going on in there. All right, your turn to write November. Okay, so now I'm going to put in my comma. Remember it's slightly just above that bottom line actually, and then it just flicks down like that. Then I'm going to leave a space. I'm going to have to squeeze it a little. I'm going to write 2020. So watching me, that's the 2 and the 0 the first time. But still watching me because you get 2 chances. Remember, I start just below that dotted line. There we go. 2020. Excellent. Your turn to write 2020. Today's Tuesday, the 10th of November, 2020. My, how this year has flown. Okay. This week we're going to focus on the letter X. a letter that's not used very often and has a sound that a lot of children find difficult to remember. The sound that X makes is ks, ks. Kind of comes from the back of your mouth, and you use your tongue a bit. Ks. Kind of push the air up, out and over it. So we're going to start with, we'll start with capital X. So capital X, watching me, I'm starting up on a dot and I'm going down diagonally to the bottom solid line. I take my pencil off, okay? So it's a 2-stroke letter. It's got 1 stroke going that way. And then, something we don't normally do, but we do for the X, is we come to the bottom and we bring that up through the center, through the middle, and we touch that top dotted line like that. Okay, I'm going to do one more, so don't you do it yet. If you're writing, then you're doing the wrong thing. You're still watching, okay? So I'm going to leave a finger space. Watch me one more time, because you need to get it right, okay? So starting on the top dotted line, we're going down diagonally, taking it off, coming from the bottom, up through the center, and off, okay? Notice how it crosses over where that middle, that lovely solid blue line is, okay? That's where yours is going to cross over as well. Okay, now it's your turn, and we're going to fill out our row together. Think about how wide you're making them too, because you don't want them super duper wide. Okay, that's a mistake. And the way that you can make sure you do that is thinking about how diagonal you make your line, because if you're going out here somewhere, then it's going to be massive. All right, so not too far out. Okay, cool. So we've got our lovely row of capital or uppercase X. Now we're going to work on our row of lowercase x. So that's just going to fit between the 2 solid lines. Okay, so remember before, capital X fit between the top solid line and the top dotted line and the bottom solid line. But lowercase x is just going to be between the 2 solid lines. So watching me, starting here, going down to same strokes. See? Same strokes, the down and the up, just smaller. Okay, it's just fitting between the 2 solid lines. Okay, so you can complete your row along with me. Remember to leave finger spaces between each one. And we're crossing over in the middle. Okay. Ta-da! A row of lowercase x. Okay. Now we can move on to the combination. So you get to see uppercase X next to lowercase x and see how they're different and the same. So they've got differences and similarities. So something that's different is the size, but something that's the same is the way we form it. Okay, so it's the same formation. It's going down, up, down, up. Okay, so same, but different sizes. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. All right, so watching me one more time. Down, up, down, up. Okay, cool. You can fill out your line with me, and then it will be time for our wordplay. I don't think I'm going to fit anymore. Okay, I'll give you a bit of time just so you can finish off your combination row. And then we'll get on to our wordplay. Okay, now on to wordplay. So we're going to be putting the X at the end of words or in the middle, not at the start. You don't get a lot of words that start with X, except for xylophone and X-ray, and maybe a few others. Okay, so I'm starting with the word box. Watching me, please. I'm starting on the top dotted line, I'm going down, I'm doing the branch, coming up, rounding the bottom and going along that bottom line. Then the O. Okay, remember X, down, up. Okay, your turn to write box. We all know what a box is. A box is usually in a cube or a rectangular prism shape. We put things inside the box. All right, that's box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make box into a plural. So we're going to put a suffix on the end. When a word ends in a x or a sh sound, so when it's got that kind of back of the mouth passing air over your tongue kind of sound like x, sh, ch, then we add an es to the end to turn it into a plural. So I'm going to put my finger here. I'm going to write box again. You're watching me. Box. But I want to have boxes. So I want to have lots of boxes. Okay, so watching me, I'm doing an E, writing an E, and then an S. Okay. Cool. We kind of need that E as like a protector between the X and the S because their sounds are kind of similar. They're that sort of, x, s kind of sounds. So you need the E. Just a funky rule of English. By the way, it's your turn to write boxes if you're not already writing boxes. Boxes can be made out of many different materials, usually cardboard, but you can have boxes made out of plastic. You can even have metal boxes, you can even have a glass box. Boxes are great for organising. That means getting your stuff together in some sort of order. Okay, I'm going to leave a finger space and I'm going to write my next word. So I'm starting just below this top dotted line. You're watching me. I'm making a cane. Oh, it's an F. And then an O. And then an X. Fox. Fox. Your turn to write fox. Fabulous Mr. Fox. Fox is an animal. It's a mammal. They live in the wild. They're not generally, sorry, they're not native to Australia, but you do see them. Fox. Okay. I want to make fox into a plural as well. I want to have foxes. So again, because a x and a s sound very similar, you need that e in the middle to separate them. Fox is foxes. Foxes. Could you please write foxes? Box, boxes, fox, foxes. That's great, because if you know this OX or this OXES pattern, then it's easy to change box into fox, boxes into foxes, because the only part you're changing is the first sound. But oxes, oxes. Okay, we're going to move on. I'm going to write the word axe. So watching me, writing an A, now X is in the middle. X, E, axe. An axe is a tool. It's used for chopping, for cutting things up, usually wood. Sometimes you'll see an axe or a woodcutter in a fairy tale. The tool they use is an axe. It's very sharp, only to be used by adults. And even then it can be a bit dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to leave a space and I'm just going to fit axes, I think. So watching me, because don't get tricked, all right? Axe already ends in an E. So there's already an E there protecting the X and the S, like separating them. Okay, so we're not going to go AX, EES, that would be silly. That would be something completely different. So I'm going to write A, X, E, S. Axes. Can you please write axes? Axes. Okay. Well done. Oh, isn't this pretty? Okay, it's like a big cross-stitch pattern. So you should have your long date, Tuesday the 10th of November 2020. Should have a row of capital X, a row of lowercase x, the combination row of capital lowercase, and your wordplay. So we learned how to make words that end in X or have an X in them into a plural. Great. Please, like we do each week, check that you've got sufficient finger spaces. That means check you've got, you know, decent, good finger spaces between your letters. It's something that we talk about every single week. Something that would be good this week is, you know what, how about you swap your book with the person next to you? Go ahead, swap your book with the person next to you. They are going to get their finger and they are going to check if you have finger spaces between each of your letters or your words. And they're going to let you know how you went. Okay, remember to give, you know, good feedback. So please don't sit there and say, it's awful. Think about what you're going to say. Okay, if the person has finger spaces the whole way through, tell them that. you've got finger spaces the whole way through. If they have them some of the time, you could say, well, you've got finger spaces sometimes, but, and then you can point out to them where they don't have them. If they don't have finger spaces for most of it, just tell them. Just say, well, you don't have finger spaces for most of your handwriting. Maybe even try to find somewhere where they might have a finger space, because it would be good to see that. Cool. Once you are done with that, give the book back to the person. Make sure you tell them what you thought. Then fold your arms and wait for your teacher's instructions. Have a great week.